Good morning.
Hi, Eugene. How are you doing today?
Hello. It's Monday, so I'm doing fine. Oh, shoot, it's Wednesday, isn't it? How are you guys doing there?
Good. It's nice and quiet.
I'm driving, so I'm gonna mute and turn off my camera. So, but I'll be here.
Thank you.
Morning, everybody.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. Good to see you today.
Nice to see you.
Who is that behind you? Is that in the picture?
Johnny Cash.
That's what I was thinking.
Yep. This is my music room.
Nice.
It's my getaway place where I can pretend I'm going to be on American Idol.
Well, you need to come over and visit us since we live on Johnny Cash.
I know oh, hold on. Yeah, I actually hit Bill Miller up about a year and a half ago or so. If he ever had any Johnny Cash memorabilia, that let me know and I'd buy it from him, but I don't think he's talking to me anymore.
We got, when they did one of the auctions, we actually have one of the Johnny Cash's paintings. It's a print, but so we have that up in the family room. So we have that one, and our street lost a number of street signs, so we had Public Works put them up higher. Uh-huh. And Bobby was looking on Zillow, and there was a house for sale in Riverside. And they showed like their man cave. They had a Johnny Cash street sign from Corona, and it's like, oh, we should turn him in.
Nice. Yeah, here's my other Johnny Cash one. I don't know if you can see it.
You know he had relatives here, right?
There's my other Johnny Cash one.
Oh, okay.
Johnny Cash had relatives here.
Picture.
I don't have that as my backdrop.
It depends who you're talking to.
Wayne Cash was a year or 2 years older than me at Corona High School, and they were related.
No kidding. Is that his Wayne Cash? Is that a brother or a son?
No, it was a nephew or something. And he lived. They lived in Corona, and he was supported by Johnny Cash.
Wow. Well, I know Bill Miller was super close to him. He was his godfather, if you remember Bill.
All right. Well, Bill's really responsible for the museum being here when it was here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eugene was on that board.
Right on.
Were you here in '86 when he played at the high school?
You know what? No, I don't think so. I got hired in December of '86, but I remember everybody talking about it.
Yeah, the Centennial.
Oh my God. You say Centennial?
It was the Centennial of Corona.
Oh, yeah.
He played the Centennial concert, 100 years.
That's so cool.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
This is Mike Parashi.
Hi, Mike.
How are you,
Morning,
Jim?
Mike.
I'm good, man.
Good morning.
I'm good.
Hey, Jim, thank you for taking the call yesterday, my friend. Great job.
I'll always answer your call, brother.
I appreciate that, and the client appreciate that very much.
Good. I still haven't got an email from him yet. As soon as I do, we'll take care of some stuff, okay?
I will remind them. Thank you again.
Okay.
We've got about a minute before we start.
All right. I'm going to turn my video off then.
All right, it is 10 o'clock. I want to thank everyone for joining our call today. We work all week to try to make this call a valuable use of your time to get the topics and the people who can come and address you that will be of the greatest benefit for the members of the Corona Chamber of Commerce. So thank you for being here. As we typically do, we have a lot to cover this morning. So first off, I want to thank our sponsor, Western States Financial. We truly appreciate the people that participate and sponsor this call. We hope that you will consider their services when it's time to need their products. So thank you to John and all those at Western States Financial for being our valuable sponsor today. If you're interested in supporting the Chamber and sponsoring a call like this, please contact Bobby Spiegel or Desiree or anyone at the Chamber office, and we can work that out for you. As always, if you have any questions today, use the chat button. Don't use the microphone. The chat is monitored by Linda Richards. At the end of our specific speakers, we will ask Linda if there's any questions in the chat box, and she will forward those questions to us. Every speaker only has a limited amount of time, so sometimes we will try to combine similar questions for the sake of time. We continue to try to help you prosper during these trying times. One of the benefits is this call, and we really appreciate our speakers for taking their time to come. Our first speaker today is a very busy man and a guy that works hard for the city of Corona that we at the Corona Chamber appreciate, along with the rest of the Corona City Council. And it is my pleasure at this time to introduce our first speaker, which will be our mayor, Jim Steiner, followed by our assistant city manager, Roger Bailey. So if you have any questions, please, again, put them in the chat box. Mayor Steiner.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. First off, I want to wish the Spiegel family a speedy recovery. You know, a couple months ago, I didn't know anybody personally who had tested positive for COVID-19. Now I know many, including relatives. So definitely hitting closer to home. I don't have a ton to share this morning, but I wanted to remind you that any business looking to relocate or expand is encouraged to contact Corona's Economic Development Team to set up a free Team Corona meeting. This is an all-hands-on-deck meeting with representatives from each department to review the business's proposal, discuss the permitting process, and ultimately streamline the plan checks. The California Competes tax credit application is now open. $80 million in tax credits is available for businesses that are expanding and adding full-time jobs within the state. If you have any questions on how to apply, please feel free to contact Jessica Gonzalez or Ryan Cortez. For those of you who are looking for something fun to do on Saturday morning, I encourage you to stop by our certified Corona's Farmer Market in the parking lot of the Corona Mall at 6th and Main. This is a great opportunity to get outside of the house, support your local vendors, and stock up on some produce. And lastly, I want to give a shout out to our trauma intervention program for the incredible work they do in our community. if you're passionate about helping others, I would encourage you to learn more about becoming a tip volunteer. You know, these volunteers are some of our heroes behind the scenes, and are specially trained to assist families and witnesses in the first few hours after a traumatic event. The next training academy begins September 17th. So for more information, you can contact Bob Oth, and his number is 951-314-8000. And now I would like to introduce Roger Bradley. Roger joined the City of Corona as our new Assistant City Manager on July 6, 2020. It was so great to get City Manager Ellis some help, because, you know, Jacob was pretty much doing everything. Just he had so much on his plate. So it was nice that he was able to bring in a professional to take some of it off his plate so he can concentrate on other things. But Roger comes to Corona with over 19 years in government service. Roger is a proud veteran, having begun his career in the Marine Corps, ultimately obtaining the rank of corporal while working as a mechanic on M1A1 tanks. Roger spent time at various duty stations, including service at 29 Palms and Camp Pendleton here in California, Fort Knox, Kentucky, and the Middle East. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Statistics and a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from Brigham Young University, along with a Master's in Public Administration from USC. Roger has served as the Community Services Director for the City of Claremont in Los Angeles County, Assistant to the City Manager for the City of Dublin in Northern California, and most recently as the Assistant County Administrator for the County of Kings in the Central Valley. Roger and his wife Jennifer have 4 children, a boy and 3 girls, ages 15, 13, 11, and 8. Please join me in welcoming Roger to the city. Roger, you there?
Yes, I am, Mayor. Thank you very much for the introduction. And thank you to the Chamber and business community for the welcome introduction this morning. I'm really looking forward to working with the Chamber and with the business community to continue to make Corona the best community there is. Corona is a special place, and I'm very happy and excited to be here. I'm very passionate about public service and making a difference in the community in which I serve. And I see that passion in the council, staff, and the community here. I think Corona has a bright future and great things ahead, and I'm very excited to see and be a part of its future. A big part of that future, of course, is the resiliency and prosperity of the business community. I look forward to partnering with you and helping however I can to maximize your success. So if there's anything, anytime that I can do to help, please feel free to reach out. Again, thank you for the welcome, and I look forward to getting to know each of you over the years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roger. Has anybody got any questions for me or Roger before we move on?
Linda, do we have any questions for the mayor or for Roger?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. We understand there's a ballot issue for sales tax increase that was approved by the council. Is the city offering any workshops or webinars on this?
I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. And I'm not sure if Roger knows that yet, but I know our city manager, Jacob Ellis, had talked about several different opportunities to discuss this with the public and our business community. So I don't know the details of that though, but yeah, we're going to be doing definitely outreach.
So you're correct, Mayor. We actually are putting that plan together, and some more information should be available pretty soon.
Thank you, Roger. Any other questions?
Yeah, and assuming this measure fails, what cuts would be done?
Well, that's a good question. We have a pretty robust reserve, so that's something that's I believe is going to get us through the next couple of years, regardless of what COVID does. It's just the reoccurring costs that are the challenge. I think it's similar to what's been going on since 2008. Since the recession hit, there were cuts, pretty much every year. The city manager was coming to our department heads telling them they had to cut their budgets. Of course, public safety is always going to be a priority, but when you keep cutting, service is gonna start showing its flaws, and that goes in response times for police and fire. We're still down 40 cops from where we were in 2008. And we've closed 2 of our fire trucks down, completely taken them off the street. So now we're no longer meeting national standards. So, and as you guys know, in economic development, we were down to 1 employee in our entire economic development department. That's unacceptable. We brought Jessica Gonzalez on board. She's awesome. I can't wait for her to just spread her wings and show you what she can do. But that needs to have 3 or 4 more people still in that department. So, you know, these things add up over a while. And, you know, to specifically answer your question, the council will talk about it. I feel like I have a pretty good pulse of what this community wants. I get daily complaints about issues with service problems, and of course a lot of it's around the traffic and homelessness, and of course public safety. But you know, those are the big items, but there's a lot of daily issues that they seem small, but they're important to people. And that's the branch that's blocking the stop signs, the potholes, the weed abatement not getting done at the pace they want, the LMD is not being maintained at the level they expect, on and on and on. So, you know, we got to address what we're hearing from the community, on, you know, on the daily type stuff. And to say where we're going to cut first, I don't know. We'll talk about it. But I'll tell you this, that you know, public safety is always going to be the most important thing. If you don't have a safe community, businesses aren't going to want to be here. People aren't going to want to enjoy the outdoors or go out. And so that'll be number one. But we'll do our best to balance it all. And just like everything, there's a balance to everything. And we'll do our best to continue with that balance.
Thank you. It's a tough situation. And getting a little controversial maybe, regarding marijuana shops and distributions. Have they been approved here in Corona?
So after I got elected, at my very first council meeting, I had mentioned bringing this topic up again. The previous council had discussed it and made the decision, which was the right one at the time, to hold off and see what happens in the industry, just so we don't make some of the same mistakes that many of the communities are making. So I asked to bring it back and see what we've learned over the previous year and see if there were some opportunities to tax and regulate and bring in jobs and additional businesses to the community. Yes, it's controversial. It barely passed in Corona, but it still passed. And I think more people are coming out of the closet and understanding it a little bit more and not as scared by it, and realize that in 5 years from now, it's going to be pretty much mainstream, I think. So we did approve moving forward with the draft ordinance. And that is going through the CEQA process right now. And I got to be honest with you, I don't know what the heck CEQA would have to do with a business that has not even been designated in a certain location. So someone else could probably answer that better than me. But it is going through the CEQA process. We're anticipating that we get, if it all goes smoothly, to get that completed in the next couple months. And then it will have to go to Planning Commission and then 2 readings by the City Council for final approval. It's been clearly expressed by a 5-0 vote of the City Council that we will be moving forward with commercial cannabis in this community, with the exception of cultivation. And I think you're going to see it all around us in other communities as well.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all the questions that we have for now.
Okay, guys, I'll hang out until you're done with the meeting in case anything else comes up. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Jim. And always happy to see another fellow Cougar alumnus on board there, Roger. Okay, thank you guys. Moving on, I'd like to turn it over now, and there we go, to Ann St.Germain with Level Advisors. She's part of our current ELR class, and she's going to give us an update on their project, the Bob Hope USO at March Air Reserve Base. Ann?
Hi, Don. Thank you so much for the introduction. Yes, so I am a current member of the Executive Leadership Roundtable class, which will be graduating next month. If anybody has any questions about what ELR is, reach out to myself or anybody at the Chamber. It's a really cool program, and it's really worth participating in. You meet a lot of connections, and you learn a lot of things about your community that you may have never known before. Part of the group and part of what we do is you find a project to complete during your year. And what we decided to do as a group was to help support the Bob Hope USO, which we saw as we were touring the March Air Reserve Base, excuse me. When we were in there and we walked into the USO building, we were more than underwhelmed with sort of the services that were being provided to our military members when they come home, as they sit in this building waiting to either be deployed or come home from being deployed. There wasn't much as far as kitchen services, food options. There was no Wi-Fi, anything like that. So that was sort of became our mission to really kind of bless the USO and what they do, and which is where we came up with this, our saying, which is our troops deserve more than a PB&J, because they didn't have the kitchen capacity to provide anything more than that. They had no place really to store food. They did not have a refrigeration system. So we decided that would be our project. So we have been raising monies and have raised enough to be able to get them not only a big, big giant utility-sized refrigerator. We also wanted to continue to bless them, to provide monies for Wi-Fi services so that our members can, FaceTime or connect with their families. Another project that we had also committed to help fund was, I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head, but it's recorded book reading, so that, our service members could read a book to their children, record it, and then that way their kiddos could hear their voices and hear that story over and over again while they were separated. The need is quite a bit. To date, we raised about 35, if I remember, thousand off the top of my head. They could use upwards of 100,000. And so we're asking everybody to go to givebigcorona.com, givebigcorona.com. And from there, you can make a charitable contribution to a 501c3. Well, that will go directly to this project. And it'll pay dividends just going forward. Something to note that this building that we have helped supply the refrigerator and where your monies are going was also the first place that the coronavirus people were put when they came to March. So those people also, I think, where we had the refrigerator in by then, were also blessed by that, where they were able to receive some additional services because this USO building got this additional funding. So again, it's givebigcorona.com, and please reach out to one of us, any of us, myself, Dawn, Bobby, anybody, in regards to the Executive Leadership Program. It's a pretty cool program. You would really enjoy it once a month. Check it out. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Ms. St.Germain. Any questions for Ann, Linda?
No questions.
Okay.
I did put the link in the chat box if people want to grab it from there.
For givebigcorona.com. And I just, as always, I want to echo an endorsement for our Executive Leadership Roundtable. We are taking applications right now for our next class. Not only do you benefit as an individual, but the community benefits, because we have a history of just great projects, such as the one underway right now at the March Air Reserve Base. So thank you very much. And in fact, as Ann mentioned, our next Good Morning Corona will be the ELR graduation. And we're going to talk about their accomplishments and recognize those that participated in that, some of whom are on this call. So if you want, we invite you and welcome you to come join us on August 21st for that celebration. Right now, we're planning on that being, I think, still out at Silver Lakes. It was a great experience when we had our Good Morning Corona out there last month. We're hoping to do it again, and you'll get to see Ann St.Germain and the entire group. If you want to get a break on pricing, you want to send it in by August the 10th. And I'm not sure what the break is. I don't see it on the card here, but that is on August 21st. And again, Good Morning Corona. I believe it's going to be out at Silver Lakes. Next item, our advocacy outreach is one of the most valuable things we do at the Corona Chamber of Commerce, to keep you informed of everything that's happening at every level of government, from city to federal, and be able to put your input And that's the good thing about a chamber of commerce. You're not just one person or one entity. You're joining a group of people. And that is how you get your voice really heard. And that's one of the benefits, one of the major benefits of belonging to this group. We're totally a membership-based organization, and we are only as strong as our members. One of our great tools and a very talented man who leads us in our effort is from Occidental Communication. He's our advocacy and legislative advisor. And if you ever have any questions on bills or businesses, you can let us know. And Jeff is just a wonderful resource and has been for quite a while for us. So at this time, I would like to turn it over to Jeff Gibson.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate that. The legislature is back in session in Sacramento, and so you're going to start to see a lot more news based on their plans for restarting the state. They just yesterday started to detail a plan that they're calling the $100 billion plan that we will talk about next week as the legislative provisions become available. This week, we are following up on each of the pieces of legislation that we have endorsed mostly in opposition. And those are Prop 15, which would get Prop 13 protections for businesses and job producers, and even apartments that have some component, like our project over on North Main Street in town, that have shops underneath and apartments above, would focus them on being reassessed every 3 years on what's known as community value, which would end up increasing property taxes on businesses by 100% every 2 to 3 years, depending upon when they would be reassessed, which would get passed through immediately to folks like yourself who generally have what is known as a triple net lease, which are any of the expenses that come to the landlord go directly through to the lease. That's one. So that's Prop 15. Another is AB 398, which would impose a $275 tax on per employee. It was considered in Seattle, it was considered in Washington, it was considered in several other cities. Each time it was removed, even after being passed, for being called a job killer. Unfortunately, it is continuing to move through the state legislature currently. We have AB 3216, and which is trying to join itself to another bill, SB 1383. The numbers are going to be changing on a number of these things. So the bottom line for you is there is a plan to require employers. When we came to you last week, the requirement was for all employers and for any emergency declaration by the governor to provide 12 weeks of emergency leave on demand, on the demand of the employee. So you can employ someone for actually just 30 days and they would be able to demand 12 weeks of emergency leave for almost any reason. And it wouldn't matter the reason because you as an employer wouldn't be able to follow up and ask what those reasons are. Through our work and a lot of other very dedicated people, we're not going to take credit for all of it, but we are part of a statewide coalition that has received some pretty significant amendments to those pieces of legislation, changing it from every employer and literally down to one employee. It's now 5 employees, and they're considering moving it further up the chain to 25 and hopefully 50. The second piece of that is the requirement on employers only is for the COVID-based emergencies. So that is still a significant risk, especially given the state of our economy. We calculate that all of the bills that we are trying to fight as part of a national coalition is currently, they would cost you, if all of them were passed as proposed currently, would cost $14,670 per employee on average. And so we are part of a larger coalition organized out of the Association of Western Employers that if you would like to join, In fact, on this call, what we talk about is there's always other things that you could be doing as a member. It's a pretty significant part of our conversation during the week, before these calls, and ongoing throughout our more than decade of work on this, that there's always more that you can do to support. And I will put the link in the chat room, but the link is Association of Western Employers, spell all that out, no spaces, .com. And you can just join the email list. We'll put you down for, as a member of the Corona Chamber, you won't receive any other communication from them. It's a free service to the Chamber. The association is working with a number of different industry associations across the state and across the country to make sure that when the economy is being restarted, that the needs of employers to create great jobs and the needs of employees to be protected are balanced, that they aren't in favoring one group or the other. And that's what we're fighting for. And so in any case, I'm going to be here on the chat room. I'd be happy to take any questions if Linda has that. But in any case, that's where we are. The legislature's back in session, so no man and no woman is safe while the legislature's back in session. So, but with that, Linda, is there anything?
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Yeah. So are there like sample letters that people can send to their elected officials?
So we've tried that in the past, and what the legislature this year, the reason that we're not asking people to send sample letters is because the legislature is cutting down on pieces of legislation. And so as they go through, the legislature normally at this point would be considering 800 to 1,500 pieces of legislation. They currently are considering 275. So numbers are changing, bills are being amended. What we're asking people to do is join the coalition, and then we will make sure that if you are a member of our coalition and a bill number changes, something like that happens, your letter won't be thrown out because AB such and such is no longer being considered, that you are on record as being opposed to requiring employers to pay a $275 tax for creating a job each year annually. And so again, the web link is associationofwesternemployers.com. And this is a very difficult year for everyone. It's difficult to advocate on your behalf because the ball keeps moving on us with good reason, but bill numbers are changing, bills are being amended into other bills at a record pace or near record pace. And so this is something that we decided sample letters, which we've used in the past, aren't appropriate here.
Thank you. And who would be the best to craft a bill that blocks all future attempts to saddle the employers with these ridiculous bills?
The best person? Well, there are several members of the legislature that draft that legislation, but it doesn't go anywhere. The legislature is ruled pretty tightly by a handful of legislators who decide which bills go where. We don't really have time on the call to determine that, but we work very distinctly with members. Last time we met, we endorsed AB 235, which the coalition, which if you signed up for the coalition, you would be supporting as well, which are Endangered Species Act reform. One of the things that's happening under COVID is the Endangered Species Act is being looked at as for expansion so that climate change can be used as a reason to declare a species endangered. Not current climate change, but climate change anytime over the next 100 years. So you can see that and the species that they're looking at specifically for doing that the first time is the Joshua tree, which the federal government, the state government several times have determined is not endangered in any way. But of course, if climate change, if the temperature goes up or goes down, the Joshua Tree could become extinct. And so therefore, even though it's not endangered now and it won't be endangered in the future, as far as we know, we should treat it as if it's endangered and shut down the rest of the desert to any sort of development, which is where a lot of our housing was planning on going. And 80% of the desert is already owned by the federal government. So the desert is always going to look like the desert no matter what happens. So we're working with Chad Mays out of Yucca Valley on passing his bill, AB 235, to basically make the Endangered Species Act be an act about saving endangered species, not having to do with anything else. So that's an example of a good piece of legislation. So I appreciate that question.
Thank you. And would you be able to post a link in the chat to the website that you talked about? Thank you. And for
it'll be up in about 30 seconds.
For anybody who is on our registered list, we will send that link to you out in an email after this call later today, so you have it also in your emails. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Jeff. And I just want to reiterate what an important job that Jeff does for us. And again, that's the importance of this membership of this organization, to be able to push back and have our voices heard, so we can keep our businesses going and keep the state strong. Remember, every week you have to register for this call so that you get the update and you get the contact information. Next week will be very interesting. We're going to talk about the legislature's plan, as Jeff mentioned, for the $100 billion recovery. It's very scary times. It's very scary times financially, potentially $14,000 per employee. Holy mackerel. And that's just something that you probably want to tune in on. So register for next week. And there you can see the link there to do that with. I want to thank all of our speakers and appreciate all of you again for being here. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Western Financial Services. And is there something in the chat room that just popped up, Linda?
Yes, thank you. Jeff, what was the bill numbers related to employers with 5 or more employees would have to give 12 weeks?
Sure, I just posted it. Sure.
Perfect, thank you.
It's SB 1383 and AB 3216.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, I think that's it. Again, thank you for all the guest speakers for coming in again, and I appreciate all of you for being on the call. At this time, I would like to introduce the chair-elect, who will be the chairman of the board next year, from Creative by Design, Kim Maybon. Kim and I are going to close it out with some announcements. Kim?
Thank you, Don. Just a reminder to those of you who are not yet a member, or if you know of a neighboring business that would find chamber membership beneficial, please connect with Robert Yanez to become part of our chamber family. We do service a regional landscape. If you refer a member, you will get free advertisement in the Corona Business News.
Our next Coffee with an Entrepreneur is August 10th, Monday, August 10th. It will be with John and Kathy Armstrong. I've been to John and Kathy's plant here in Corona. It's a very interesting operation. They're very successful. Their goal was to do more manufacturing here domestically and not have to send it out of the country. And I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say on August 10th. And so please register and join us for that program, which will be on Zoom.
We want to thank our sponsor, Western States Financial, for sponsoring today's Zoom call. If you are interested in becoming a sponsor, please contact Bobby at the Chamber of Commerce.
I want to again remind you of the Safer Together pledge. Take the pledge and let residents and travelers know you are committed to their safety. After you commit to the pledge, you can proudly display the seal that will signify you are dedicated to current and safe safety standards. You can see the bitty link there on the screen. And if you need more information, please contact Linda Richards at the Chamber office.
We would like to thank the businesses shown on the screen now for sponsoring the upcoming Corona Golf Classic. Unfortunately, the tournament has been postponed to later this fall with details to come. Foursomes are being accepted through Friday, August 14th to receive full sponsor benefits and all the goodies that will come with being part of this Corona Chamber event.
The Women's Leadership Conference is going to be on September 24th. You can get your tickets now for $45 a person. This year we decided just yesterday or the day before, we're going to go 100% virtual. This is a very valuable meeting with information. There's a physicians panel. It's really a popular program that I believe this is our 9th year. So please register now and look forward to having you attend that.
Register now for Paul Webb's popular workshop on Thursday, September 3rd. Paul is a licensed NLP master trainer with over 43 years of sales training experience. The September workshop's topic is how to handle customer attitudes, skepticism, indifference, and objections. If you missed any of the past workshops, don't worry, he will do a quick review before going on to new material. It's free to members if you register by this Friday, July 31st. After that, the member price will be $25, so don't delay.
So again, in closing, a reminder for our next week, register. You might as well do it right now so you don't forget, like I do sometimes. So you get the information. And again, it's the California Legislature's plan for $100 billion recovery. And finally, on behalf of the Corona Chamber of Commerce and myself, wishing wellness to the Spiegel family, that they will have an easy time and be back with us all very soon. So thank you again for being on the call, and we will see you next week. We are adjourned.